Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. And I am joined today. I'm Taz Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And I am joined today by my two co-hosts. We have Jennifer Jurkofsky and with My Holistic Self, and we have Gerald from TarotStache, which I am always excited to have both of you with us on Twillow Talk. And Gerald,
yes.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? Because we have a good time today.
I am TarotStache. I am a creative individual who does lots of things creatively, including teaching upcoming classes on tarot. I do offer readings. I am teaching some local, some quilting color confidence classes for some local quilt guilds. Awesome. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm just an overall creative guy. And tarot, I do tarot and stache. I have a lot of stash of tarot decks and oracle decks, as well as a mustache.
He does.
I'm glad to be here. For inviting me.
It's always awesome having you. So, Jen, tell us a little bit about you too.
Oh, yeah. About me. I am a registered psychotherapist, certified Canadian counselor, intuitive life coach, energy person, stuff,
Stuff. You do stuff. Awesome. Kind of like me. I do the energy healing stuff and the Celtic shamanic stuff and the galactic stuff. I do stuff too. Mm-hmm. So we have some awesome chatters because we do have the best chatters, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's say hello to a few people. We have Fogo Pogo. Hey, Kaylee.
Hey.
I think we actually only missed 1 week of this. And so we're back again. Mm-hmm. And thank you for that. Lots of love to you. And we have Ms. Tarot D.
Ms. Tarot D.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And Leah. Hey, Leah. Nice to have you. Good to see you all here. And so I guess I should maybe do a little bit of forecasting like we often do. I'll go into that sort of energetic forecast, see where we're at. We haven't had too many X-class solar storms lately, thankfully, but we have had a bunch of M-class. Let's just pull that up. So you'll see here, we've had M-class throughout the week here, but it's certainly been quieter than some of our other weeks where we've shown stuff way up here in our thing. So so that's doing pretty good, kind of on an even keel, I would say. We had a little bit of a cluster there this morning, I guess you could say, early. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's been, pretty quiet overall. And then when we look at the Schumann, though, today, so the Schumann, we're in a 6-hour blackout period. So what that means is we actually had a big, if we scroll down here, you'll see we had this big 95 jump in the middle of the late afternoon yesterday. This is UTC.
Wow.
And we've subsequently ended up in here. So we had, what this usually means, the blackout means that it's gone like up off the charts, like a big spike. And it takes a while for it to kind of reconfigure and come down again so that we can get some more readings. So it has been a day where the Schumann is concerned. So as you can see, we've had these other spikes here too in the last day or so. Really, so most of it is about that. I would say in your energetic forecast when it comes to things today. Jen, what's going on astrologically and human designly and all of that?
Well, it's been fun. So let's see. To start off, July 6th, we switched into the 53rd key or the 53rd gate. So to show you guys that, we've got the 53. Okay, and the 53rd is development, it's beginnings. And we're looking at moving from immaturity to superabundance through the gift of expansion. And it's a really neat thing. This is root and sacral energy, right? So it's also a formatting energy. So what we do here makes a big impact. All right. And so this is about the gift of expansion. And the idea here is that whatever we're focusing our energy on, or whatever we're putting our attention to during this time, that's the energy that's going to expand. So we really have to be mindful about where we're putting our attention, what we're focusing on, right? And I mean, I know that that's like good advice, period.
Yes, but I think particularly because we've had the July gate, right? So we had, I'm not sure if that's like a portal. July portal is the word I'm looking for. Thank you. The 7/7 portal yesterday. And I think that's a big part of that as well. So that just feeds into some of what you're saying as well.
And also July 5th was a new moon. So that new moon energy really lines up with that. And by the way, I love it when all of this stuff lines up, people. I love it. Awesome. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? That new moon energy that brought us kind of into all of this. And then now we're, it's so fascinating because we talk about kind of where we're at in our evolutionary process, right? And there's so much that goes into releasing and bringing in new, releasing and bringing in new, right? And it really does follow the new moon, full moon cycle of releasing and bringing in new. And and right now we're looking at, the victim kind of state in this is the inability to complete. And so we, maybe have this energy to do stuff, but we feel like we're not able to move on to start something new because we've got this kind of other stuff that's taking up space. But right now we're in an energy to be able to actually start something, right? And it's really, the energy here, especially when we're looking at the immaturity piece, it's evolving beyond evolution is what Richard talks about here. And it is a collective evolution, right? And it's a collective shadow. So notice too, what you're putting your attention to, is it even yours? Or is it pulling you? Right? Because you don't want to be pulled into collective fear and collective, insecurities, worries, whatever it is. You don't want to be now bringing more of that energy forward. Right? So being able to really kind of notice what's happening right now and where is my focus? And if I'm putting, my focus on something that I'm finding, immature, not okay, not acceptable, whatever, I'm also holding space for that in my reality. And so that's a really tough thing sometimes.
Because we do those things subconsciously too, right? So that's the difficulty with it.
Yeah.
I was dealing with that yesterday. I was getting pulled in and I knew I was getting pulled in, and I'm like going, I don't want to get pulled in, but I kept looking back. Open up the social media stuff. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? And I finally, you know what? I'm going to disconnect. So turn off and do something with my hands.
Good. Yeah.
Like
so important. And as we're moving forward with the energy, some different things are going to be happening. And so I think it's really important to kind of be prepared for the energy that's coming too, because we're going to be in this energy through Friday. And then Saturday, we're going to be switching. The sun gate's going to be switching, but also the energy that day that I want to focus on. So we'll talk about that one next week. On Monday, we'll talk about the sun transit switch. But the more important piece is that right now, we're going to have Mars Okay, so in astrology, this is, you know, action, aggression, and drive. In human design, Mars really represents that immaturity piece, right? It's the design Mars is our core wound, and it is that kind of you know, anything from assertion to aggression, action, and courage, right? Like all of that is kind of in there. But it is that potential for us to act out of our pain and act out of our wounding. Right. And now it's going to join Uranus, which is already in the 8th house in Taurus. Right. And this is about, in human design, how we're unique. And so it's really about that individuality and personal identity in the human design perspective. And in astrology, we're looking at how it signifies change. So it's innovation or rebellion, right? So now do you see like where we're kind of going with this? And with this energy.
So we shouldn't rebel is what you're saying?
Well, and then on top of that, there's a fixed star, and it's considered a malefic fixed star. It's called Algol, and it's also known as like the demon's head. And the energy here, or the demon star, so it's got to do with Perseus and Medusa and severing of the head, right? And so there is this kind of potential for misfortune, but there also is this high potential for bringing in spiritual value. So think about, yes, there's more.
Yeah. But wait, there's more. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Right.
Here,
So now we
hold my
have,
beer.
like the energy of potential immaturity, which could be action and assertiveness and courage, or aggression and trauma being brought forward, joining with the energy of you know, our personal identity, revolution, change, innovation, right? And now we also bring in this other energy, this fixed star that's now going to impact all of that. And we can either have a huge awakening experience, or we can really do something we're not going to be happy about later. Right? And now this is all happening in Taurus.
Oh my.
Okay. So just understand, like, we don't want to be bullheaded. We don't want to get caught up in our stuff. We do not want to get stuck in the immaturity. Right. And because it's moving into the 8th gate, this gate is about, the shadow aspect of it is mediocrity. Right. And so this idea of fighting against, you know, this belief that we're somehow not okay as we are. You can see that, right? In the Mars and the trauma wounding and all of that energy, right? And then this idea is moving towards this, you know, gift of style, and how do we bring out this uniqueness of what we are, this Uranus energy, but that's also potentially revolutionary, and that could be in a positive way, that could not be in a positive way. It really depends on how we are processing this energy. Right? And what it can lead to is this exquisiteness, which is amazing. Right? And that's part of that abundance that can be there and be part of this energy. But we really just need to be mindful about what it's pulling from us. Right? And the more that we can recognize what it's pulling from us, the more present we can be, the more conscious and intentional we can be. Right? Now we're going to have the ability to kind of guide that energy the way that we want, right? But
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know how she remembers all this either.
Yeah. No.
It's a whole lot of this and a whole lot of that and a whole lot of this other piece of that.
Well, I think it's really, you know, something you said. It's like how we are processing this energy.
Yeah.
That means we need to process the energy
Consciously.
consciously. And when we can consciously do that, goes back to what you were saying, where we place our attention is what we get more of.
Yeah.
And there are, you know, and if we don't know we have that energy or what's going on, we just know we're feeling off. And so and this is Gerald and somebody else, if we don't exactly know what it is, but we're feeling things and we're recognizing those feelings and we're doing appropriate for us things with those feelings, that's processing it.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not, yeah. Okay, I can stop talking now.
You don't need
You don't need to. That's
No,
why.
but I was
That's
just
why
like,
we're here.
You know, I think that this is a big piece too, Gerald, what you're talking about. And I am, you know what, I'm going to just talk about it because Saturday, we're going to need to know this before Monday. So we're moving into the 60-second gate. And the 60-second gate, the shadow of it is the intellect and getting really caught up in the mind. So now think about this for a second, right? Our Mars, our immaturity with Uranus, which is this like revolutionary energy, and then the algol, which again is this kind of, it could be extreme misfortune or spiritual value, right? So again, we're looking at where can we go with this, right? And it's happening in this gate that needs to bring forth, like it needs to bring forth this energy of expression. And our sun is going into the 60-second gate. So our sun is all about our outer expression, right? This is about what we're here to give to the world. And so it's taking that inner peace and bringing it out, right? And that's going into the 60-second gate. And if the 60-second gate, if we stick in our mind and we try to do everything from our intellect, we are not going to process this energy well, right? The gift of that 60-second is about precision. It's really about what is the actual thing that I need to focus on right here, right now to help move me through this, right? So now I'm having this Mars trigger, you know, some potentially ancestral trauma too, right? Like this isn't just a me trauma stuff. This is core wounding stuff. And so core wounding comes, you know, ancestral energy and all of that. Like we're looking at generational stuff going back that's wounding that we've carried forward.
Can this be including your past life stuff too?
It could be. Yeah.
Like, is that part of your core too?
Yeah. I mean, it's everything that makes up who we are, right? And our core wounding is also a beautiful gift for us. Like once we've worked through that, I mean, the power and the wisdom that we have in that is absolutely incredible. But it's a lot of work, right? To process all of that. And so, you know, this coming weekend is like, hey, hello, guess what we get to work on now?
So
let's process.
So what would be a good thing for people to bring into the weekend to help support them? Is there something that
compassion?
Okay.
And I would say use your tools, right? Because things are going to come up for you. So using your comfort tools, right? Your crystals, essential oils. If you do energy healing, do some of that on yourself, right? Sometimes when we do it, we forget to do healing on ourselves when we're doing it. And don't forget to reach out for help.
And I would say to start doing that energy work now to help build up for Saturday. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's very hot. People need to hydrate.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and hydration moves energy, right? Water moves energy. And so we don't want any of this energy stuck in us, right? We want it to move, and we want it to move through us, and we want it to move out. And water helps that process.
It does.
Well, and water is a beautiful conductor. So I am a firm believer, you know, if they drink a beverage and they need to mix it with a spoon to mix it, and this is Gerald's, you know, mix it clockwise, thinking of all of the positive things that are coming in so that you are consuming that. It's part of the intention.
Absolutely.
And it's so very important because little things add up, and little things are the support that we need during these times.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So I think we should say hello to a few people.
Can we do that?
Okay. So just because we've had a few people come in, so we want to say hello to Hypnocity.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Who put a thought of the day, which I flashed at one point. So thought of the day: for most benevolent outcomes, think responsibly, act accordingly, be kind. Absolutely. Love it. And who else have we had come in here? We have had Joyful Journey come in.
Hello, hello.
Hypnocity, we're sending tons of love because we've had a bit of a weepy day today. And Kaylee was getting a headache or something. I read there. She had a headache when we were talking about the other stuff. So lots of love to you as well. And Hypnocity said, let it flow.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to do for sure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So we do have the best chatters.
Yeah.
Duh.
Definitely. Most definitely. And, it's interesting, right? Like we talk about all of this and we talk so much about the spiritual journey, right? That's what we're talking about when we're here. We're talking about our journey and we're talking about all the things that come up in our journey. And, I want to go back to Shakespeare. Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so, right? All of this stuff that can come up, all of our schnut that can come up, right? Like, it's not a bad thing. Right. What we do with it, how we navigate it, whether we choose to release it or hold on to it, the ways that we choose to process it, right? All of that is going to impact how we feel, but it's not good or bad in the sense that, one thing is, okay, if I feel this way, it's good. And if I feel this way, it's bad. Like it's all part of that journey. And it's such a beautiful piece if we allow it to be.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes I limit myself by thinking in terms of duality. It's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's right or wrong. It's male or female. It's like, no, it just is. And now what? So.
Yeah. I always like what you say, Jen, what else is possible? What else is possible? What's next? What else is possible?
Yeah.
Because when we think that we're stuck in a corner, that's always a good way to like sort of give us that opening to think differently so that we can step out of the duality thinking into, okay, it just is. This is just, it is what it is.
It just is. And it's okay.
Yes.
So, being creative, I think, is also another one. It's like Jacqueline's.
Yes.
Jacqueline's yes.
Yes. Yes, Jacqueline says, I can't do that yet. Doesn't mean we're never going to. It's just today we can't.
Yes.
I can't do it today. Maybe next week.
I'm going to drop myself a picture really quick to share. Hopefully it'll let me share a picture. We'll see.
Ooh, a picture.
Should.
Just I've shared this one once before, I think. If anybody has an issue with cats, you just let me know.
I think most people like cats. At least, pictures of.
So. I would think so.
I saw something recently that made me chuckle that said, if cats could text, they wouldn't text you back.
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
I think it's accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
They definitely have a mind of their own.
It's interesting because it's a picture. It doesn't show up as an option for me to share.
Can you just show it on your screen, or do you want to send it to me in Messenger?
Here we go. Window.
Yeah, there we go.
Add to stage.
Oops. There we go.
There we go. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Open and curious. What else is possible?
Yeah.
Right? This is what we do to ourselves all the time.
Yep.
Right? We focus on what we think is our issue or what we perceive is our problem. And that hyper focus just totally makes it so we miss all of the possibilities around us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plato's
told-
cave.
Oh,
Anybody
Plato's.
know that?
Yes, we're in the cave and we're seeing the reflections
Yeah.
and not what's really going on. Something like that.
Yes.
Boy, yeah,
So it's illusionary.
yeah.
Yeah,
Illusionary
it's like an
thinking.
allegory, and that the whole story is like there's a big kind of like rock, and you're sitting like with your back to it in the image that I saw, at least, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's like all these shadows kind of playing on the cave wall, right? And as long as that's all you know, that's your reality,
Correct.
Right. Right. Okay.
and so, and then being able to be able to move beyond the cave, you realize that there's actually so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just got company, so both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look up.
Up to. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Lots
there's
around.
there's a lot
Okay.
of company today, so there's a lot going on. Maybe there's some stuff they want us to talk about.
Yeah.
I was shuffling the Denise Lynn Sacred Destiny Oracle cards.
Love
Ooh.
Denise Lynn. Yeah.
These were gifted to me by someone very kind, and the card that I pulled out is love.
Oh,
awesome.
And yes, and I was drawn to that, and I'm like, it's the wild rose, and roses are the universal symbol of love.
mm-hmm.
And so this is one of those things. If you have the means, what?
What some of you might not know is that my maiden name is Rose.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
So
my maiden name was Tanis Rose.
I love that. I love that. So this is about love, and if you have the means, perhaps pick yourself up a rose or something like that to remind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you can have this symbol around you to be kind and to be generous. So,
and if not, remember our little friends are rose quartz,
rose quartz, yes,
which also help remind us of love.
yes,
Yeah, very awesome.
yes.
It's interesting. I was pulling for our thing, and
Oh yes,
full truth, and rose is also representation of passion.
It is.
And I got, what passion am I ready to pursue?
Oh my gosh.
Which,
and you know, I have half a dozen different, probably more than that, rose quartz on my desk, and I picked this one up, right, which is the flame, also about passion.
Yep. And our gate right now, right? It's about that, immaturity to expansion to superabundance, and it's about, part of that is following your passion. Like, what can you allow yourself to open to right now, right? And as we move beyond that immaturity kind of piece of getting caught up in all the other stuff, we can make way for what we actually want to bring forward.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why, but they keep yelling at me to say Creais again. So that's something we might want to talk about, because they've been at me for the last couple of minutes about that. So I thought I'm just going to put that forward, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead and finish reading your card.
I think Creais just goes with this energy so well too.
Yeah.
It says, your passions will continually lead you to your purpose. What passions have you put to the side, given up on, or buried? What passion is ready to come alive in you? Today's soul action: write a list of the passions to which you want to give life right now. Then journal how you can incorporate more of what you are passionate about into your daily life. Trust your soul's whispering and let your passions draw you towards your dream life.
That's good.
I just saw the most beautiful scene. It was like this woman, and she's like swirling. It was could have been like, fae or something, but they were like swirling fairy dust in this big swirl of glitter, and it was very, I don't know, it was very creative. I don't know why they showed that to me, but I'll share it because somebody needed to hear it, I guess.
Very cool.
Great. That's perfect.
like creating the energy, right?
Mhm.
Because that's really
Mhm.
what that's about as well.
Yeah.
Creating that energy of love, creating those things coming
Mhm.
forward, the passion, and how do we figure out what our passion is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and there's going to be the energy right now too, where you're going to feel that pressure to start something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it might be something new. It might be something that you wanted to start before that's just kind of coming back up. But that energy is primed right now,
Yeah.
right? For you to do that. So taking a minute and checking in with yourself and kind of going, okay, like what in this moment would absolutely light me up?
So
So
good.
let's put that a question. Let's put that out as a question.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, what would light you up right now? Is it roses?
Mm-hmm.
Is it love? Is it nature? Is it being creative in some way?
Yeah. Yeah. Kaylee wrote in her.
Julie's working on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then, next step is kind of taking that action. What are you going to do to actually move one or more of them forward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Explore something new. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And taking the time to hold space and, make time for that. Because I think that's the other piece too, is we get in our own way so often.
Oh, don't we?
Well, yeah. Well, and I also think it's important to remember that what lights me up is not what lights you up, and it's
Yeah.
not supposed to.
Mm-mm.
And because something that lights me up may appear to you to be something really small and insignificant, it doesn't make it that way for me. It is, I mean, it lights me up. And I love the idea of recognizing what helps people find their passion and what lights them up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's so very important. We need more of that, to be honest with you. I mean, and we need
Yeah.
and we need to look. Okay.
They're giving him a message.
Well,
Fair.
it is important for us to be curious about what others are doing, and not just hearing what they're saying, what they're doing, but listening for the emotion behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and to get curious about the emotion behind it. And you don't have to go, well, it seems like blah 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 blah. Instead, it's more of a, that seems really important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. And then you create space for somebody to is like, who, hypnicity is like likes being helpful for
Mm-hmm.
people. And that doesn't need to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And, I think, a new person to have a face-to-face connection with, someone who gets me. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important for us. It would be a blessing for all of us, especially during so much stress and pressure in the world, to stop talking so much and just be with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and to put down the phone, and just be where we are.
Yeah.
So, and
Well, and I think.
yeah,
Sorry.
and
Go ahead.
I'm also supposed to say, journaling does not mean that you are drawing a massive picture. It can. It doesn't mean that you're writing all sorts of novels and novellas and great thoughts and spells and all that stuff. Journaling can be you just taking the pencil or your writing utensil across the paper. That's all it needs to be. And you don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to read it. It's important to allow that. I mean, if you've ever used a fountain pen, I use a fountain pen, and when I switch, the ink cartridges, it doesn't always start right there. I have to move the pen across the paper a little bit. And it's the same thing with that creativity and what what lights me up, what is passionate for me.
It's interesting because I was just doing some reading, of course, on my time off, and I was reading this book, a Celestial Shaman book, and in that they were talking about light language, and she was talking about how being creative and just allowing the pen to flow, because she's one that taps into the light language and does it on paper as well, and so it brought me to that being creative and really like just allowing yourself to draw whatever comes out and see what comes forward when you do that, like that automatic drawing, automatic writing aspect. So definitely kind of like what you were saying, Gerald, that it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
This is something I think that's important for all of us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just because I've listened to you and I've held space doesn't mean I agree with what you've said. It means that I value you.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to hold that space. I have that happen in therapy sometimes where people will come in and go, well, what should I do? It's like, that's not my job to tell you what you should do. Right. And people don't always like that. But as you said, to be able to go back and ask those questions and get the response and I'll do this often too, where they'll be telling me something and then I'll say, hold on, I'm going to stop you for a second. Can you just say that again? Right? And notice the narrative, notice what's being said, and notice the energy around what was being said. Right? It's like, okay, what do you get from that? Right? As you actually take a step back and begin to observe what's happening inside of you in this moment where you're saying this and you're bringing this forward, what do you want to do with that?
Well, and so many people channel and they don't realize it. That you having them repeat it, sometimes they'll be like, what did I say? Because they channeled it and they don't understand. They don't know what they said.
I do that too.
I do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Jen, would you agree that what do you want to do with that now? An acceptable answer is, I don't know yet.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
One of the best answers, I think, because then it gives you that play space to go, oh, I don't know what I want to do with that yet.
Well, and
you could do all sorts of things with that.
It's not about having an answer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So much of the work, that I do is about being able to rest in the not knowing. Can I just be in that space and be okay with it? Right? And hold space for, like you said, Tianis, I say it so often, open and curious. Yeah. Right? Can I actually say, I have no idea, but I'm open and I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Ejaculate thing. So, and I think there's a lot of power in that.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of power in that.
Definitely. I love doing so many things, but asking what my mind is panicking about picking one thing. Who said you had to pick one thing? You don't have to pick one thing.
Well, but the question is what is one thing? I'll say that.
Okay,
however,
true. I did ask that, but you don't have to.
Kaylee, you're smart enough. You can go, what's one thing? Well, it could be this. Oh, but I also like this, and I like this, and I like this, and I like this, and I do this, and I do this. That's a lot of skills, and that's part of the beauty of being alive and having so much inspiration. It's like, ooh, and then I don't know about you, but sometimes I have to put things on, little pieces of paper so that I can get them out of my head and then lay them out and see how they work together. So it's like, cool. You're welcome.
That's great, Jen. Awesome. It's a great way to meet people, right? Taking classes.
certainly in meeting like-minded individuals, somebody who would share
Exactly.
the same space. That's fun.
Yeah. It's lots of fun when we start to step into that. For sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Kaylee says she feels a difference when it's channeled versus just drawing, right?
Yeah.
Details and colors come across more vivid. Definitely.
I have that experience even when I'm working with fabric and my sewing machine. I'm like going, when did I do that? Okay.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
We can step into it in anything that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
That channeled experience.
Remember doing an art piece and going, okay, I have a vague idea of what this is going to be, and had no idea how it would turn out. And afterwards, I'm just like, that wasn't me. And that, I don't know where that just came from. Thank you. Thank you.
But see, here's the thing. It was you.
Yes, it was. But to be able to recognize in that moment that I don't even necessarily remember getting from the start to the finish.
Yeah.
I just was enjoying the process. And as it unfolded, I was just good with it. Yeah. Right? It wasn't it has to be like this or it has to be like that. And those I find are the most rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be the gift of expansion? When that comes through and we allow it to happen?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You don't have to be aware of it, because before I was, I'll say awake, whatever you want to call it, aware of this, I had a night where I was like getting ready for bed, and I was almost like I was in my PJs. I just laid down in bed, and I had this picture in my head, and I actually had to get up, go downstairs, get my pastels, and I drew this picture, and I had to. And this was before I knew why I was even doing this kind of thing, right? It was like, I don't know, I just had to get it out of my head. And I drew this picture, and it actually still hangs in my bathroom. And it's now 17 years old. It was so it was 17 years ago this happened. So that was way before sort of my awareness only started or 11 years ago now. So this stuff happens for people, and they don't even realize that that's happening, right? These little sparks or calls to action, that we get that are intuitively driven or channeled,
I love that. When my daughter needs to talk, I'm surprised by what I say to her. Really good ideas coming through me. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding when we can share that way. I know that's part of, what all of us do in our practice. We do that kind of work, and it's very rewarding when we can bring through the information that needs to come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Channeled.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
There they are. They are perfect. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, right? Like Gerald, you're talking about expansion and, going into superabundance and in light of the transit right now, right? And it is this amazing thing because, okay, we look at the shadow of immaturity, right? And it is, I find that I'll quote the Tao again, just because, I like to. But, not knowing is true knowledge. Perceiving that we know is a disease, right? And so when we talk about, that level of immaturity, when we get very stuck on something and it has to be this and everything else, we're not open to expansion. We're not open to possibility. But the moment that we open to that possibility and expansion comes through, we do move into superabundance, because in that moment we have access to anything and everything.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful moment to allow ourselves to be in. And it is about allowing ourselves to be in it, because we all have capacity to be there.
Absolutely.
Just get out of our own way.
For sure.
That is cool.
Yeah, the Creais thing, I think, so this was one that was, this is one of my pieces that was pretty channeled, I would say. Let me just pull that up. So this is a fun exercise because we did the background colors. Like we did the background with the texture, and then we had to put something on top of it. And so the texture allowed me to be free enough that once I started doing the actual picture, that came through. So it was
great.
It was lovely. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And so that's just how we start to tap in, right? So when we were talking about how you start to allow things to be free before you can sort of allow it to come through, that piece is a good example of that, because the background was when we were just playing. It was like, I think it was saran wrap or something I used with it. And so we used saran wrap to kind of loosen things up so that when I went to do it, it was just like, oh, this is what's coming through. Okay, cool. I mean, they were quite structured, but the coloring and stuff in it was certainly not something that I might have done. It's, so.
That's great.
Oh, looks like we have someone else's friend on today.
Oh, hey, Don.
Hey, Don.
Do you know this person?
I do know this person.
Hi, Don's Herbs. I've never met you before.
Actually, you might have.
You probably met Don. He's
It's
probably come in behind my computer and said hi at some point.
I may have seen Don's hand.
You may have seen.
Or heard his voice. Yes.
Or heard his voice. But this is what Don is saying is when things are unfolding effortlessly, one could consider it as being a passive observer who is simply a witness to God's work in progress through us.
Nice.
Yes,
oh,
Queen.
you got the thwarp. Yes.
You got the thwarp, Don.
Well, see, and that's a really, I mean, however you want to describe it, when that's really important.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
It's a beautiful way of putting it. And it's true because and I liked how when I was talking about the idea of having it move through, and it wasn't me, and recognizing it is me because I'm being used for this thing, right? And so much of the work that we do, we talk about, I'm just a vessel, right? And I'm just being
just a tool.
Allowing that
you
to
calling a tool.
But when we do allow it, like it's beautiful to be part of that and feels privileged to be used in that way.
You're right.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of that connection, when we connect to spirit, that we can be that tool.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the one thing that we can encourage people to be, is really tapping into that connection, because that's when it comes out in creativity, in creative thinking, in problem solving.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Right.
Yeah. There's a poem that came a while back. I'm actually going to pull it up. It's on my website. It's one. Okay, so I say a while back. It was, early 2020s. 20. I think I put it on my site in 2022, and it's called "I Am." And it says, "I am a bridge and a doorway, a tunnel and a light. I am a harbinger and an explosion, a sweeper of the night. I am a shaman and a teacher, a priestess of truth. I am a herald and a helper, a message aloof. I am a dervish and a wanderer, a lover of the divine. I am a servant and a wretch, a nothingness sublime. I am whatever I am called to be, a moldable tool. I am nothing of my own doing, a thought to make me a fool. I am simply a reflection, an unencumbered soul. I am but a drop in the vast ocean, a part and yet the whole."
Beautiful.
And I remember when that came, really being able to embrace that energy of, you know, I am all of this, and yet I am none of this. And it's all and nothing all at once. And that is an incredible place to be, right? Because in that moment, we hold space for a limitless capacity to flow through us. And our mind doesn't get in the way of it. Right?
Yes.
And that is just an incredible moment of awareness. And I say moment because we ebb and flow in and out of those states. Right, you know, but when we're able to really embrace them, you know, for myself, you know, it really is that all and nothing all at once.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's great. Wow.
You got a wow as well. Yeah, it is beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
And
we have this one here. So
yeah.
Kaylee did a session yesterday. She was able to separate herself enough to be in awe of how the energy was working as a passive observer.
That's beautiful.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, Liz. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Jen, are you supposed to be pulling another card?
Yes, I am.
Ah, there you go.
It is time.
It is.
Where did the time go? I don't know where the time
Fast
went.
it flies. All right.
how
So
did that
these
happen?
are seeds from the sacred feminine. Okay, let's see what they got for us. So these are kind of actions and, oh, there we go. Oh, interesting. So we're talking about, you know, what passion do I want to pursue? How do I want to open myself? How do I want to move forward? And we got ask for guidance.
That's that intuitive piece.
There it is. It's right there.
Beautiful.
Right. And so being able to be open to receiving that and to allowing that to flow through you. Hello, hello.
Hi, Carla. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Carla.
All right. Ready? Okay, here we go. You are not alone, grandchild. You are surrounded by guides and spirit helpers in the form of grandmothers, grandfathers, and beloved ancestors. They see you and know your sacred journey. These guides dwell in the mysterious realm of the sacred feminine, and your spirit lives with them. Your spirit walks with them and can access all the wisdom that ever was and ever will be. You have all the answers you will ever need, but your mind needs your spirit's help. Sit in silence, visit the stillness of the sacred feminine, and ask your spirit for help. Consult your wise ancestors. Commune with the grandmothers. Your guides know that your earth walk is challenging, for you came here knowing you would forget who you are. Your spirit helpers remember and are here to assist you. Ask them to give you clear signs when you ask a question or simple directions about how to go on. They use the elusive language of the sacred feminine, gut feelings, intuition, and inner knowing. Follow that hunch, listen to that quiet whisper, or turn back when you feel like an invisible wall has appeared before you. Spiritual guidance is yours for the asking. Then listen to what you receive. Your spirit helpers await your request.
Nice.
That's also them confirming they were here with us today.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, yeah, let me put that out there. Don't forget to ask us, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah. Ask and then make sure you pay attention for the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we have to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the answers, of course, come in all different ways for different people. There's no right or wrong. It's just pay attention. And
Got it.
Be open and curious.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Gerald, what have you got going on the next week?
Tomorrow I have a show with Hexa, Betsy, and Hershey, where we're continuing our conversation in Laugh and Learn. It's the Rocky Road to Responsibility, where we talked the last time about worthiness, and everybody wanted to get a little bit messy and share some of their own experiences where they've had to learn the lesson of responsibility and accountability. So I'm honored to be hosting that.
Beautiful.
And then I have more shows coming up through the week, and one of them is on Thursday, where I'm doing an interview with the author Deborah Zachow about her upcoming book called Decode Tarot.
Oh, cool.
Or Tarot Decoded. Oh, geez.
Nice.
I should have. Sorry. But it's already posted.
Beautiful.
Cool.
So check out his web.
Yep.
Or his the website, and also YouTube, right? At TarotStache, as you can see. Oh, wrong direction. Way down in the corner down there. Under Jen. Other side. Other side. Oh. There. Perfect.
I'm mirrored. So
yeah.
I need that guidance.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. Jen, what have you got going on?
This was my it for this week as far as lives go.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'll see you guys again next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too, actually. Not too much going on this week, which is good. Easing back in after being on vacation.
Yep.
And getting some guidance as to where we're going. So I've got a couple of new ideas that are coming, so stay tuned. And it does have something to do with Creais, just because they were just building on one as we were talking. So that's going to filter through, I'm sure, in the next couple of days, and we'll take a look at that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So next week we have a special guest, which we will announce when we put the thing up.
It's just a little teasy dangle there.
We're going to teach you, and I highly encourage that.
Yes. So stay tuned, and then you'll find out who it is. And what else do we want to say? Yeah. There's lots coming up. So have an awesome week, everyone. Final thoughts, Gerald?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe to all.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, final thoughts?
Yeah, just tune in, check in, and hold space for whatever's possible.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing breathe, folks. Just breathe. Have an awesome week, everyone. Ooh, I like that one too. Shine. Hit the city.
Awesome. Love it.
Thank you guys all for joining us too. It's always wonderful to have all of our best chatters. And we'll look forward to seeing you again back here, same time, same space, next week. Have an awesome week, everyone. Lots of love.